There he is, my partner in crime, the one and only Daddy Baconator Bacon. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
Oh, you know what? A little tired, but very excited to do tonight's show because one, it was an absolute honor to be a part of what we're going to be talking about tonight, and there we've got some great fellows that are going to teach us and make us learn all about CHEO and what their event does to raise money for a kids program that is extremely deserved and worthy. And I'll tell you, Dan, I missed you, but you will feel as if you were there after we're done tonight.
Well, I know how they are. We've got to do the one show with them, and they're entertaining. I'm looking forward to going through this year, and I'm going to give a quick shout out to my mom celebrating her 65th on Friday, which is one of the reasons why I wasn't able to attend, and it's a very good reason not to attend. I might say that and leave it there, but no, it was good. I'm so anxious to be sitting in air conditioning right now, talking to you guys.
No kidding.
It's so hot out there.
And that will be said, I'm sure, by both Eron and Jay when we talk to them. They'll certainly thank the volunteers that helped out because the conditions were anything but ideal. If you are a big person like me, yeah, you took it on the chin on that Saturday. It was a warm day, I'll tell you, very warm day.
Well, I can only imagine. Yeah, I'm excited to get into this and find out all the results. I got to watch some of the live that they were producing, and it was really good. And of course, we got to see Scottie in there, so we could see you hard at work.
Well, without further ado, why don't we bring in our guests tonight, both Eron and Jay. They're going to teach us everything we need to know about Kayak Bass Canada and, of course, the CHEO for Kids program initiative. Just unbelievable stuff that is going on for CHEO. And I'll tell you, welcome, Jay, welcome, Eron, and congratulations. But before we get to that, I think probably what we should probably do is spend a little bit of time explaining to the folks what CHEO is and how it's related to Kayak Bass Canada.
Thanks, Scottie. Eron, why don't you take that?
Sure. First of all, Scottie, thanks for having us. It was really nice seeing you there. A lot of guys were stoked to see you in person, supporting us. So again, on behalf of Kayak Bass Canada, our viewers, myself and Jason, thank you for attending and having us on the show tonight. CHEO is the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, as many of you know. It's a hospital and trauma center for children and youth in Ottawa, Canada. CHEO is a global leader in pediatric healthcare and research. So there's really a wide spectrum of services and things that CHEO offers. This year we did the Integrated Treatment Center, which is taking 7 care locations into a single state-of-the-art purpose-built site. And it's going to be on CHEO's Smith Road campus, which is really cool because instead of having all these different areas, buildings that they lease to offer these services, it's all going to be in one spot. So if you kind of think about CHEO's footprint, you can almost double that. So it's really an expansive, initiative. It's a huge product. They're going to have a multi-use clinic space, a physiotherapy rehab gym, expanded mental health clinics, indoor and outdoor spaces where the teachers and the therapists can combine education and therapy for the kids, secure spaces for children and youth that have complex emotional needs, treatment rooms, for children with behavioral needs. There'll be advanced technology and virtual care, which is something kind of new to everybody that they're trying to offer. And then lastly, there's going to be family support spaces, new parking lot and structure, and a whole bunch more that I just don't have on the tip of my tongue. But CHEO's catchment area for us is all the way to the St. Lawrence River, which we all love, great fishery. As far as the east side of Montreal, all the way to Nunavut. So that's why we chose CHEO, is there's just so many families, relatives, and friends that are covered in this giant catchment area.
Absolutely amazing. Danny, do you have a question first before I get to mine?
Well, I was gonna. You kind of led into a little bit. I was kind of curious, like what drew you guys to CHEO and why did you get involved? And like, there's so many organizations that need help like this year that with this kind of fundraising. Why did you guys pick CHEO?
Well, do you want me to answer, Jay? We started out 5 years ago with Ronald McDonald House. That was our first charity. So, we call it the, fifth annual, but it's really our fourth annual CHEO event. So we started out with Ronald McDonald House because I used Ronald McDonald House when my wife's mom passed from cancer. And, back then we were a young family and we really couldn't afford to stay in Ottawa all the time from the Valley. And my wife and I actually were recipients of, the services from the Ronald McDonald House, which was, absolutely amazing. So we could go up there more, we could spend the night, and we could visit her mom. So we did Ronald McDonald House. We raised $6,000. The next year, we sat down and we said, let's move to CHEO. We just thought that it was a bigger charity that could use more assistance, and we kind of wanted to go a step above and level up. So we raised $12,000 for CHEO in the first year, which was our second benefit year. The next year was $22,000 in change. Last year was $42,000 in change. And this year, I don't know how we did it, Jason, but I didn't think we would. Jason said, Aaron, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. I was super skeptical. And at the end of the day, I got seriously emotional, Scottie. I had to hold it back. I saw Jason holding that check that said, 45 plus. And you were right, Jason. You said 45. We could do it.
Yeah, I think another thing that led us to CHEO was that we have a lot of anglers in our community that have used the services of CHEO. They've had infants that were born with certain issues, health issues that CHEO saved their kids' lives, or even some of our anglers spent time in CHEO. So when they were younger, so it really resonates and it really tugs at the heartstrings of our anglers in our community, and so it's a natural fit for us, and it's a no-brainer for us to continue with CHEO. People seem to open up their wallet books for them because someone's been touched, or if you have healthy children, you want to give to CHEO, but if you've used CHEO, you still want to donate to CHEO. So it's it's kind of a no-brainer for us in our community.
Oh, makes total sense. And as I said, it is Kayak Bass Canada that is the group that is sort of spearheading and the flagship of.
That's right.
And it's across Canada. You have members in a number of provinces. But again, you're kind of like CFN, where your home base is Ontario. It is a stigma that we would love to get rid of, simply because we are across Canada, and there are provinces for us like Saskatchewan where we have a good population of CFNers. So we certainly don't like the stigma of it being Ontario based, because there's some great stuff being done out west. But I have to say, you guys kind of stole the spotlight on Saturday. And what happened and what you guys were able to achieve truly is something that I haven't seen too many other fishing groups do here in Canada. And as Jay, you and I mentioned, perhaps maybe even across North America, that a special interest group, an angling group, is able to somehow find a way to put this much money together for any worthy cause. But the fact that, as I explain it to most, it's like sick kids. CHEO is like sick kids, like we have down in Toronto, and everybody knows sick kids and how they perform miracles daily. So CHEO is no different, and it is so awesome to be a part of a donation that you guys put together. But let's go back to the weekend. And of course, the one thing that I was absolutely amazed at was the prize table. Danny, the amount of freaking prizes these guys had, unreal. So we'll take a quick look back at what the weekend looked like from a bird's eye view. CHEO is this is your fifth annual or fourth annual event?
This is our fifth annual benefit event, our fourth for CHEO.
And you have to thank the folks up at White Lake Marina. They did a fantastic job finding spots for all of your participants. Of
Absolutely.
course, as folks showed up near the end, because they wanted to be a part of the announcement. And you could really tell that when you guys got up on stage with the mic, to announce what you had raised. I mean, you could have heard a pin drop. Everybody wanted to see and hear what you folks had done. But before that, of course, you had all these prize tables. And explain, either one of you, explain who you really have to thank for all this, because I'm just blown away at what was available.
I'm going to start, but I'm going to hand it to Jason. When I started this, it was small. It grew. It gained traction. I'd invited Jason to come in. His professionalism and dedication to the community was, it is second to none. And I have to say that the pillar of our event now for the past couple of years has been CSI Leasing. They're more than a platinum sponsor. CSI Leasing is really the foundation of this event now. So I'm going to let you take it from there, Jason.
Yeah, so I work for CSI Leasing in a leadership role here in Canada, and it's not just CSI will match up to a certain amount that we're able to raise. So CSI this year, we started at a very low level. We started in year one at $2,500, and then we've worked our way up to $10,000 to match. So if the anglers and we're able to get $10,000, then CSI would match that. So if there's anybody out there that works for a corporation, I'm gonna do a little plug right now. Sorry, boys. We are looking for a secondary sponsor to come along CSI to help us grow this and provide, more care for kids at CHEO. So if there's another corporate sponsor out there, please reach out to myself or Eron. We would love to bring you on board, walk you through our steps and what we're doing and where it's going, because everything that day goes to CHEO. There's nothing that CSI or KBC or anybody else takes off the top. We don't pay ourselves a fee for the event or running the derby. Everything is given back to CHEO. And in fact, another shout out to White Lake Marina. Without them, we wouldn't have parking or a venue to do it. And they've been fantastic. They want us back next year. We're going to go back next year. And they donate back the parking, and which is upwards of $1,000 in parking for that every day. Year. And they participate in the barbecue. And Scottie, I saw you hovering around the barbecue a few times, so I know you maybe had a few of the street corner.
Yeah, he did.
That
CFN shirt was getting a little tighter.
Buddy, absolutely. I will have to say, Rick Dory did a fantastic job. Of course, there were other volunteers that helped behind the scenes as well. But Rick's street corn, I don't even know where to start. That is something that I have never had before. Not what I would consider a huge fan of corn. Corn on the cob, yes, but not corn in general. After eating that, oh man, I looked at corn a whole different way. In fact, I came home tonight and said, "Oh, fantastic, we're having corn." And my wife looked at me funny. You hate corn? I'm like, well,
not anymore.
Not anymore.
Did you put the Cheetos on it and that garlic aioli spread? Oh, nice. Oh,
absolutely incredible.
So I'll get back to the day of the event and how we came up with the prizes and stuff. So there's a bunch of different avenues in how we got prizes and how we got the donations. We have our regular Kayak Bass Canada sponsors that we that are all very willing to provide us with draw prizes or raffle prizes. We have some anglers that can't participate but want to donate money and want Eron and I to go out and buy prizes for the table. We have groups that go out and raise, like Rick Dory's group, the Barbecue Boys from Cornwall. Rick came with a Blackstone. His group of network donated that Blackstone and many other things, the chili moose coolers and various other items. So the prizes are, we have anglers from our community that take out of their own pocket and go and buy PFDs and put them on the table. So, I mean, it just gets bigger and better every year. We changed the location to put it on the grass this year at White Marina. What a great decision. It was like an amphitheater in there. And when I turned that check around, it took everything in my power to hold back the tears, because everybody was yelling and screaming when they saw that 45,000. And I could hear whistles going off, and it was, even though Eron and I were the guys holding the check and our coordinators, this is nothing without our anglers, our community, without groups like CFN bringing us on the podcast and helping us promote our community of anglers. And so our sponsors, the anglers, the donors, the marina, it is nothing without all of them. Eron and I are just the vessels that are used to bring this forth. It is a lot of work, guys. Eron and I planned this a year in advance. We were even talking tonight about some ideas for next year. So we're already planning next year. This is not something that just gets, put together a week before. This takes 52 weeks of planning. And Eron doesn't get enough of the credit here. And I want to just take a second, if I could. He spends countless hours, sleepless hours, thinking about this, dreaming this up. My role was, when I came on board, was to try and grow it, but also just to run alongside Eron and pull that speed bump away from him. Anytime I saw something that was going to come in front of him, my job was just to pull it away. And together with our coordinators, Casey and Serge, and many of our volunteers, has turned this into a fantastic, wonderful event. But Eron, your vision, your passion, your leadership, I don't think you realize how great a leader you are. And this would have never have happened over these years if you hadn't put the dedication on and stayed up those countless hours and spent time on phone and away from your wife and your family. So on behalf of me personally, and I believe on the behalf of all of our kayak community, thank you for what you do. Thank you for bringing us into this world and this dream that you had. And it has brought so much more than just friendship, love you, man, like a brother. And so do a lot of our other anglers. And, this isn't about Eron and I, this is about our community. It really is. We love them. They're great. They're fantastic. And they blew us away on Saturday. They blew our minds. And that's why we were very emotional, because we didn't think we could do it this year. There's a lot of stuff going on in our world, in our economy, the geopolitical issues, inflation rates, and people's money is being torn out of their hands all over the place. And I'm shocked and blessed and honored to be able to have been a part of pulling this off with Eron and the rest of the team and all the community of anglers.
Wow. And that's our show. Well done, Jay. Holy
Yes, Jason Brock, thank you. I can't take all the credit. I'm super humbled, Jay. I have a lot of love for you, man. You've been more than just a right-hand man to a partner in this. When I lean on you, you're there. When I have a problem, you have a solution. Serge has worked hard this year with sponsors, judging fish. Casey raised some money and was an absolute rock star the day of for getting things done. There's a lot of people, we do the work in the off season, but when it's go time, we have an army of Kayak Bass Canada or KBC Nation members that jump in. I mean, Marco D'Ambrosi, Tim Sexton, Neil Marlowe, Robert Farnsworth. Rob was at my house 2 days before CHEO and stayed till the day after. And then Tim and Marco showed up and Neil at my house. And these guys, every time I looked at them, they're like, what else needs to be done? What can we do? Right to the teardown. Mandy Downard was helping the teardown at the end of the year. There's so many people that it brings out the best in our kayak fishing community. And to see everybody with these giant smiles on their face, that's so excited to work together. That's what makes it all worth it for me. Raising the money for CHEO is great. And that's a noble thing, but seeing our community come together the way they do, I've hosted kayak fishing events for almost 9 years, and I've never seen that kind of love and support between people in one place at once. It's something else.
It's crazy. We spent 21 minutes talking about CHEO. There was a derby that was going on, guys. Like, we actually had, a 3-fish stringer, and we haven't talked about that. So it's kind of cool that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
The heart of this is really what we've talked for the last 22 minutes is really CHEO and giving and guys opening up their wallets, and as it really has nothing to do with the derby that we put on
No.
in the tournament. So, but there are winners and there are guys that love to fish, and there's a lot of stories that come off the water, and that's just really cool too. But really, it's really all about the kids at CHEO and raising money, and we have a blast, Erin and I, doing it. I mean, it is a lot of work. It takes a lot of time and effort, but it's very rewarding for us to see what Erin just shared, of having, our guys, seeing our guys hugging each other at the end, and
That's right.
goodbye. And some of our anglers come from 9 hours away, 7-hour drive, 6-hour, 5-hour. I'm coming from over a 2-hour drive to White Lake from Kingston, one way. And a lot of our group comes from all over the place, and they camp in, they sleep on floors in people's kitchen, whatever they can get to be there. And we've got guys that we have a couple dozen guys that have been there since day one, 5 years in a row. They've been to every single one, and they collect the little stickers that we hand out in the swag bag with all of the logos of all of the sponsors and donators. You showed that at the beginning of the show, Scottie and Danny, and guys collect that like it's a collector's item. So it's really cool what our community has created as well.
We have Remy Kerouac. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Remy. Remy's one of our Kayak Bass Canada ambassadors. Every single year, Remy's here to help volunteer. And he's from the Quebec side. We have Steve Ite coming from St. Catharines. I forgot Steve. There's so many people to thank. The only person that's been with us for 5 years, other than the coordinators, as a volunteer, is Steve Ite from Hard Knocks Kayak Fishing. So I want to give a quick shout out to Hard Knocks Kayak Fishing. It's a club where you don't have to be a tournament angler. These are fun get-togethers. And Steve's been doing that for a long time. Every year he comes to my house with his wonderful daughter, Paige, who volunteers. They help with parking. They help with organizing. They do the swag bags. Steve and Remy, Marco D'Ambrosi, Rick Dory, Tim Sexton, Neil Marlowe, Rob Farnsworth. These guys are the backbone of the event. It started out as a couple guys, but it's just grown into so much more, and there's so many hands that really facilitate what we achieve and how we can host these 100 anglers.
There's such a parallel, Danny, from what you're hearing to what you experience up in the north when it comes to that coming together, that camaraderie, that everybody has a helping hand, all hands on deck. You can certainly speak to that.
Oh, absolutely. And, I got to say, so far, this show is off to a great start. I love it. I feel like I just hit play and just have been watching everything happen. So great job, guys. I'm loving it.
Erin and I can both talk the lips off a chicken or the horns off a goat. So you got the two
Absolutely.
good guys the right guys on the show tonight.
Well, I will say on that note,
I don't mind. I'm looking it in. It's all great comments. So I love it. So keep it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was what we saw, or what you folks saw last year. Again, to me, $42,000. That is an incredible achievement. And I'm sure there's a lot of kids that their lives have been altered dramatically because of a donation of that size. So a big congratulations for that. But, with that in mind, as you mentioned, Jay, you were a little concerned about perhaps being able to match this total from last year.
Yeah.
As we all found out, and we'll see here in the video, not only did you match it, but you beat it.
I'm going to let Jason Brock take over here, guys. Shout out to CSI Leasing, our premier sponsor and the foundation of this event in the past few years. Jason?
Because of you, because of our sponsors, because of the great coordinators that I work with here, we are able to smash last year's number. This year we raised $45,100.
Amazing. For CHEO, guys.
For CHEO, guys. Thank you.
You all did this, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Amazing.
You guys bought more than $15,000 worth of tickets today to make this happen. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Absolutely incredible, guys. You guys are all CHEO heroes. Lots of love.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Over 45K. Outstanding. Thank you. everyone for your support and for coming out. I don't know what else to say.
Choked up. We're really choked up. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you could really tell that the two of you were overcome with emotion, and I don't believe you were the only ones. I think there was a few other members that were equally caught off guard by your announcement. But I will say, Danny, it was as loud as being at a baseball game after someone's hit a home run. The screaming and whistling that went on, that was the really cool part. It gave me chills just listening to it again.
It's almost like a championship final, and when we're handing all the prizes, and you find out how close it is. But my hats off to you guys. It's very, very impressive to see all that. And I've seen your list of sponsors, and I know how much work it is just to get what we've got. And you guys have dwarfed us in the amount of people you got involved there. So it's very impressive the amount of work you guys are doing, and keep it up.
100%.
Thank you. Yeah, Eron and I talked about it last year when we did the 42,000, because we made such a leap, because we went from 20 something thousand to 42.
Yeah.
Like we almost had a $20,000 leap. And Eron says, "Oh my gosh, I wish we hadn't have raised that much," like jokingly, because next year we're going to have to beat it even more. Like if we had done 30,000, the 45 would have looked a lot better. But I think the 45 seemed like it was really the 42 seemed out of reach for us. And Eron and I talked about it all year. Like we were worried about the economy, and we were also worried, like the previous year, we put up our event, it sold out in a week. Like the 100 anglers signed up in a week, and it was sold out, and we had to turn people away. And this year we didn't sell out till a couple days before the event. Well, actually, we didn't even sell out. We had upped it to 110 anglers, and we only had 100 anglers. So we were getting worried seeing the numbers of the anglers not registering as fast as they did the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
But man, did they step up the day of. I think we had committed about 30,000 before the event started.
Yeah.
On Saturday is what we had committed of money that had come in. Our anglers who had hit up their networks, we had a little contest for our anglers to go and raise money, and we gave them some prizes from our sponsors, Yak Attack. Thank you very much, Yak Attack, for that. Oh, actually, we didn't. That's not our sponsor, right, Eron? I'm making a mistake there. Sorry, we bought that as directors.
We bought that as our
contest.
donation to motivate guys.
That
was
Yak Attack
Jason's idea.
did give, and they put some stuff on the table. But
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like very daunting task to try and beat 42, and it got worse when the event didn't sell out as quickly as it did the previous year. But man, did they show up the day of. It was unbelievable. And I think that's what made it so emotional for Eron and I, is just the community lifted us up when we needed it that day, because we weren't sure it was going to happen. We wasn't sure it was going to happen, and it was pretty special. It was pretty special.
Fundraising is like fishing. You don't get your personal best every day, so you got to keep aiming for that. And it's once you get it, you want to beat it. So that's a good goal to have, even though we've been going for. But we all know
that's what we're shooting for. Next year we're shooting for 50. That's our goal. We're gonna start early, Jason. As soon as you're done getting organized at the cottage, we're gonna get started. And 50K is our goal this year, guys.
It's a good
All right.
goal.
Wow. All right, we'll get it.
Now, Jay, you did mention that there is a caveat to this. Of course, there is a derby that's going on, as you mentioned. 100 anglers participating, and there was some hardware handed out on Saturday that was in addition to this great announcement with the check. Some notables on this list, and for those who are in the angling community, Chris's name pops out. There's a few of them that pop out right away, but tell us a little bit about the leaderboard.
Yeah, it's Chris Tatasco, New Lake for him, very accomplished angler before he entered the kayak scene, and he has taken the kayak scene by storm. He is a hammer, and
absolute hammer.
This guy can go on any lake on any day, wind, shine. The lake's been turned over by storms or hurricanes, and this guy can find fish. So it was really special to have him. Him and I have been sharing some comments back and forth on Facebook, and it was great to finally meet him and his family. He brought his wife and his little girl, And so it was pretty special to have him there. And I don't take anything away from it, the top 10. There are some really good anglers in our community. We have some I would put I would put a lot of our kayak anglers up against any bass angler in the kayak against a bass guy. Our guys are real good anglers, and you have to
There's
be
a
in a
lot of great
kayak.
anglers.
And
Yeah.
Justin had a fantastic day. It was really nice to see him. He supported our event over the years. He's been there. He got big bass, and he got first place. So there's no money that goes to these guys. They don't do it for the money. And a lot of these guys are money anglers. They'll go to the tournaments where the money's being paid, but a lot of these guys want to come to CHEO, and they want to. It's not about competing really. It's about being part of the event, and they happen to walk away with some hardware. And our top 10 is a really accomplished group of anglers, and there's some guys that aren't in the top 10, and Eron could have been in top 10 if he wanted to fish it, but we needed him on the land to make sure that this day went off well. So
Yeah, who knows? I used to be good at kayak bass fishing. I don't know if I'm really that good anymore. But Justin Lambert, you see in the photo here, this guy is larger than life. Super cool dude. He fishes for Jim's Hookaholic out of Quebec, who is one of our bigger sponsors, donating over $1,000 worth of merchandise. So shout out to Jimmy Goche. Justin is on his fishing team. Angelo Arlotta, he's a guy that I've known since back in the first days when I started tournament fishing. Super classy guy. Chris Tatosco, you all know who Chris Tatosco is. Like Jay said, he's an absolute hammer. Ryan Hoos, another sponsor that donated over $1,000 worth of merchandise. He picked up fourth place. Not a guy that you would expect. He just got, a kayak last year. He got into a new native. Ryan's nothing new to fishing. And now that he's in a kayak, as you see, he's in fourth place. He was a top guy. Antoine Durocher, you guys know who he is. He won the event the last few years consecutively. Another angler that travels around Canada and the U.S. doing tournaments. So there was a lot of other guys like Doyle Smith was in there. A lot of guys that aren't real steady tournament anglers, but really good anglers that come out for this event. And that's why we keep a 3-fish stringer. Maybe you're not a tournament guy, you're not into the traveling, or you just like fishing your lake at the cottage. But this event was meant to attract people that want to try tournament fishing in a comfortable camaraderie, grassroots environment that isn't super, super competitive. And I feel like we've had a lot of these anglers gravitate to the event, which is really nice. It truly is a mixed bag of kayak anglers.
yeah, like Doyle and Tyler, who I think are 6 and 7 or 7 and 8. I don't remember exactly where they fell.
They're right behind each other.
Yeah, they're good buds. They're part of the same kayak team, Jackson Kayaks.
Yeah,
But they're fantastic. I think they're better content creators than they are anglers, and I mean that with the most respect. These guys
they
can
are.
catch fish, but their
Yeah.
content is fantastic. So Big Fish Energy is Tyler Desjardins. If you want to watch some really, really,
He's got a
really
lot of
good
cool stuff.
videos on kayak fishing, he is good. He's one of these guys that tells you the bait that he's using. A lot of guys won't do that. He's very helpful. It's very informative. Guys who are new to the kayak scene or new to fishing in general will learn a lot from Tyler. And Doyle's just funny. His stuff is just hilarious. And I got to fish with both those guys this year on Bass Opener. We got together and met halfway between Ottawa and Kingston and fished a little back lake. And we had a blast. I mean, we didn't catch any hogs, but we had a really good time. These guys are great guys. They're funny. And
100%.
I'd love to spend more time with them. And so that's what it's all about.
We're on cruise control, eh, Dan? Isn't this wicked?
It's fantastic.
I love it.
I'm sure you got more questions. Just fire away, guys. Let's go.
Well,
We're not going to worry about that part.
absolutely. So I'm going to assume that next year's event is going to be at White Lake Marina again.
We were going to move. I'd already explored a couple locations with Jason, and we had one hammered out with the municipality. And this year, I mean, we moved from the back parking lot to the front area. We have a little bit of a new, new view and a twist to the same lake. A lot of guys said they love White Lake. They want to do it again. So I think we're going to stay with Jason's approval. We're going to stay another year in White Lake. Pete and Andrea Betancourt, the owners of the White Lake Marina, have been such gracious hosts. It's really hard to want to go somewhere else. Every year they go out of their way for us. They donate the parking funds, which is usually close to $1,000. That's over 5 years times $1,000. And I remember one year I walked in the office and I was with my wife and we walked in and I asked Andrea and Pete, for their blessing, or I said, would you like to donate a portion of your parking again this year? And Andrea looked at me and Pete and she said, Eron, keep it all. You brought such a wonderful buzz to our little marina. That money's for CHEO, and gave me a hug. And it was a moment, where I realized these aren't just hosts. These are, integral members of our community and my hometown and our event. And I don't think we're ready to leave White Lake yet.
You know what? Loyalty is something that truly is special in this industry. Dan and I know firsthand, what loyalty looks like and what it should look like. And I will say this, I would absolutely concur with that decision, staying with White Lake, because why fix something that ain't broke? It works very, very well. It's a great venue. And people love to be there. It's close in proximity for a lot of folks as well. So yeah. I think it ticks a lot of boxes, but I would love to see this on the road. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Eh, Dan?
Absolutely. Yeah, we got quite a few locations, but to your point though, it's nice when you establish some roots, especially with that. It's one less worry. You don't have to think about it anymore. You already know your routine, your setup. Every event has those same hurdles, and when you repeat your locations, well, you can just keep fine tuning it instead of always thinking like, well, how am I going to set up the stage, or how am I set up all that kind of stuff, right? It's amazing. Like when you say it's 52 weeks a year, you're thinking about this, and we haven't even got to ours, and we're already thinking about next year because we know we have to get that ball rolling. Especially what people don't realize, like how sponsorship works. Sometimes you have to have your commitment, or you're not your commitment, but you're requesting like in September. You got to get ahead of it beforehand. A lot of people don't realize that. So
absolutely,
we're looking that way. Unfortunately, we ran into a few of those hurdles already, and we'll be ready for next year. That's for sure. But my hat's off to you guys. You guys had a great event. I was watching the lives. I was really happy what I saw, especially like during the time of day when you're going through that, when everybody's out fishing and there's a lot of people around and there's a lot of things going on. So that was good to see.
We also got like a flash storm that came in and kind of rained on us for about 10 minutes, but hard. So we had to cover up the prizes, and we went from one extreme to the other. It was blistering hot and steamy, and then this rain came in and kind of rained on us. But we like our community does, they just grab stuff and throw it on the tables and protect the product. And I don't think we didn't get one call from somebody that said that the product was ruined. So I think we're good there. But
it was just enough to cool us down, and everybody kind of jumped in, and we went from having these 10 tents for UV protection to shielding the prize table. I also forgot to mention, and I'd like to thank, my family was there. So for me, that was very special and a very proud moment. My stepfather was the oldest angler in attendance at 77, and he fished the day.
He also won a lot of prizes too.
He does. He likes to spend money on the raffle tickets. He's a big spender. So he was teasing me about how many, tickets I bought. And when I went and bought more, he went and bought a couple $100 more and then was waving them at me. So it was a fun little competition thing. We both work in HVAC. So we're always kind of competitive, which is neat. My mom was there, with her double knee and double hip replacements and cane. And service dog. And, my brother was there from I Huddle Life handling the tickets. He's a big sponsor every year. He gives me money and tells me to buy whatever I want for the table. My wife's there every single year helping out as a volunteer. If she's not working the table or food, she's organizing stuff. My daughter helps out every year. So it's kind of becoming, a family thing too. And for me, that's extra special because there's a heightened sense of pride with family involved. So between that and our community in White Lake, and I really can't see us moving anytime soon. It's just such a great mix of people in the venue. I think White Lake is our home for a while.
And what I do love is the number of your community members that are with us tonight and are leaving great comments, great accolades, and what a supportive group you have. I can't mention that enough because as Dan and I know, being in the CFN circuit for a number of years now, it all starts with good people. And as long as there's good people at the foundation, at the root of it all, great things will happen. And again, I can't thank you guys enough for sharing that with us, with our CFN community, for what you guys were able to accomplish. And the one thing too, I was great. It was great to see. You mentioned Paige, but there was quite a few female anglers that are a part of your group as well.
Yeah, it's been growing. Paige comes every single year. She's a kayak angler. She's under 18, so she doesn't compete. She likes to help out. But she paddles, I believe, at Jackson Bight. And, she paddles with the big boys, just like, anybody else would.
It's a tarpon. It's a 12-foot
Is it a tarpon?
Yeah.
It's a tarpon 120.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I'm shocked that she can move that boat, but she does.
It's a big boat. It's a big boat for her. But we've watched her grow over the last few years, She's grown into a young lady and part of our club. From just a girl years ago. And it's nice because her passion for kayak fishing in general is amazing. She lives and breathes kayak fishing, and it's really cool to see. My daughter was there helping. She got her first fishing kayak this year. She had a little Pelican 10-foot, and my wife and I got her a Jackson Stack. So seeing these younger and of all age, these lady anglers that are joining the sport, it's awesome. Steph Robar, another sponsor that put together the collaboration with Luota for that beautiful White Lakes wood sign, Scottie, with the epoxy. Yeah. The other year she won Big Fish. And there's 90 some guys sitting there on the shore while she accepted that. And she'll put it to the boys almost any day of the week when it comes to lifting 3, 4, and 5 pound bass into the kayak. So it's really cool to see that we do have some lady anglers. It's growing. We're also getting a lot of older people. Chris Agar's father was there, and my father. Our age top used to be 60 some. We're getting guys that are pushing 80 fishing with us. And they're paddling. They're not using electric or pedals. And it's really cool to see.
Your son-in-law, soon-to-be son-in-law, Eron, he brought a buddy from the bass boat world.
That's right.
And he was fishing a stand-up paddle board, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he's an accomplished bass angler, and he had a blast. I got a comment from him on Facebook this week saying,
I'll be back
next year. Even though I'm not going to buy a kayak, I'll find one, but I'm not leaving the bass boat world. But I want to be at CHEO again at your event. So I was like, that was pretty cool.
He said something to the effect of, this bass boat guy will always support you and bring his ticket money. I'll see you next year or something. And it's awesome. We have guys coming from the bass boat world that just want to simplify their fishing, downsize maybe, or just get into some, skinny little backwaters. So we are starting to get a lot more bass boat guys join us. My promise to you, Jason, is I'm going to try to get one of these two guys into a kayak for a day, fishing shallow largies in skinny water, dipping their hand in the water, pulling those fish out. So that's my goal, is to get Danny Bacon, Scottie Martin into one of our kayaks. Jason and I have multiple big boy kayaks that can handle up to 500 pounds, all your gear, and get you guys out in some skinny water to see what it's like to set the hook from the seat of a kayak.
I'll do it in a heartbeat because I have fished out of a kayak. So
I heard that, Danny. Actually, somebody told me. They said Danny Bacon. He's a kayak guy. You know, sometimes.
Well, I've never done it in any kind of tournament, stuff like that. Just my dad, my parents had kayaks on the back of our big boat, like just standard kayaks,
Yeah.
and we'd go fish around the islands and catch fish out of them. So,
what was your experience fishing out of a kayak compared to the boats that you normally fish out of?
I grew up fishing in like 6-foot dinghies, kayaks, anything I get on myself on the water fishing. I
Paddle boat, you name it, canoe.
Actually, I've caught some big fish out of paddle boats.
Me
So,
too.
It was just any opportunity. You just kind of got used to it, and it was fun. You know, it's never something that I did for like 8-10 hours at a time. I would go for a couple hours, catch a few smallies, and come back. And especially Riley here on Lake Eron, where we can go around and sight fish them in about 10-15 feet of water and have a good time with them. But no, Mary Lisa and I were actually just talking about this. She wants something, because we live on the bay here. She'd like to have something that she can just take out herself. So we've been discussing that actually. And Frank Clark, who's he's a very well renowned bass angler. He's won a lot of tournaments over the years and stuff like that. And he's fishing the championship with right now. He's back. He's in the walleye world now, but he's fishing some kayak events here in Sudbury. So he's liking that as well. So we're starting to see a lot more people from our end do it. But I do have a question for you regarding that. So you guys do a lot of kayak tournaments. What are you looking for? Because, weather is a lot more of a factor than it is for us. We can fish in those 3-4 waves. So when I'm looking at the map of White Lake, and my first thought was there's so many ways to get out of the wind there that the weather can't really build up on that.
That's why.
Is that exactly?
We're looking for bays and little nooks and crannies where, guys can fish the points from the inside of the bay, cast out into the point, get out of the wind, tuck into a corner. Honestly, that's why you've never seen us on the St. Lawrence River, because there are guys that have big water boats. Jason has a PWR. I have a Jackson Nar. These boats are designed to fish offshore, Los Buzos, Panama, like these kind of places. There's a lot of guys who don't have the experience or the kayak made for big water. And, you guys know the St. Lawrence River can get nasty real quick. And that's why we stay away from those bodies of water. We have to look at, the level of kayaks and the level of expertise or experience of our anglers and stay within those limits the best we can. Because at the end of the day, safety's first. We don't want guys feeling uncomfortable about being on the water.
Based on that comment, have you ever had to actually say something like, "I'm sorry, I don't think you should be involved with this"? Like you kind of felt that they were stepping too far outside of their expertise.
I was at a tournament once where it got so bad that guys couldn't get home. Some guys had to go to the nearest shore to a cottage and call for someone to come get them. That event was questionable years and years ago that I attended. It could have been called. I've also, had times where I was fishing and I had my anchor out and it wasn't grabbing. It was just kind of slowing me down because the wind was so bad. And, it caught something and I fell out of my boat, broke a beautiful CI4 plus, sheared it right off at the base of the reel as I went down. And that happens. I mean, it's really just about staying in your comfort zone. If you feel you should stay in a bay, hug the shorelines, then do that. Go out and venture a little more in the morning while it's flat. As the wind picks up, then hug the shores and pound the bank or some docks. The other thing is to stay within your limit. It's easy to go down a lake 3 kilometers in the morning when it's flat water and all of a sudden you're like, wow, am I ever covering a lot of ground in this little kayak? But then, when the wind picks up to 15, 20 and you're coming back in white caps, that's a different ballgame. So you really have to plan for the worst weather and, dress for that air temperature and just make sure you're prepared, know your limit and stay within it like anything else, right?
True enough.
That's a good point. I'm sure it's hard to change and put a rain suit on when you're already sitting in a kayak. I mean, it can be cumbersome in the best.
Yeah, that's at your size.
The kayaks are really stable now. You'd be surprised. They really are.
That's where PFDs, it's a must. You can't,
man.
I know a lot of bass guys in their boats, they'll pull their PFD off when they're not cruising. And when they're on the deck of the boat, they're fishing, right? But in our world, we don't allow them to take their PFDs off if they're standing in their kayak. You have to have it on at all times. If you're seen without it, you're disqualified immediately. So
and we take it even one further. If you're on Kayak Fishing Like's Facebook group, check it out, guys. Almost 4,000 members. Kayak Bass Canada, we're pushing, I think, 3,000 members. You can't post a pic or a video if you're not wearing a PFD. It's one of our 5 rules. It'll get pulled. And I've had guys, debate. It's not illegal. No, it's not illegal. But as a collective group of like-minded people, we choose to promote safe kayak fishing. And that's just the bottom line. And we've always held true to that.
That's awesome.
So Scottie, I got a PFD that'll fit you, and I'll get you some of Rick's street corn. And I'll get you
We'll get you a Yak Attack cup full of hot street corn, Scottie.
And if that's what it takes to get you in a kayak, Scottie, I'm your man. I'll get you that stuff.
You got to dangle it on a stick like a carrot for a horse.
Absolutely.
And kayak, and you catch up to it.
I was thinking maybe a couple of us go down with the black tinted out van, just drive down, get them outside of work, slide the door open, grab them, take them on a weekend kayak fishing trip.
I'll be in front of him. I'll tie a couple of raw steaks to my neck so he can chase me down.
Yeah. Some cold beers.
Oh, it won't.
That's my goal, Scottie, is to get you out for a couple hours on some calm, shallow water largies, and just to see what the excitement is of kayak fishing. But hey, no pressure. You're on TV.
It won't take that much to get it done, but I do appreciate the effort nonetheless.
You don't want the street corn?
Yeah. Well, Rick's already saying he's going to have to make 3 batches for next year. The way it got tossed out, because I tell you, there were lots of hamburgers and dogs left over, but not a stick.
There was. I was looking at the food and I'm thinking, people would rather have street corn than a bacon double cheeseburger.
Yeah, it was so true. It was unreal. To answer your question, Richard, the biggest fish, as you can see, there was a tie, 19 1/4 inches. Again, I think it was Jeff Dix that mentioned, the fact that it was tough fishing for some. So, to see these kind of totals truly was indicative of
it was tough
anglers you have.
Last year we had Serge judge 750 fish. This year we had 160 fish logged on the app. So that now some guys came in a bit early because of the heat wave, but that gives you an idea, like 750 to 160. The fish were just shut right down because of the heat. So, and White Lake being a numbers lake, not a size lake, it's pretty good. A lot of guys did really good. They broke that lake down and got them to bite.
Yeah, it's true. And as I said, the names that I see, and Chris is someone that I've been following for a very long time, who was in the boating world and competed in bass tournaments from a boat, made the switch to kayak. And I do remember after his first year, he said to me, Scottie, I don't know where this kayaking has been all my life, but I am so glad to have finally found what he calls home. Like, he feels so comfortable in those kayaks. And I would have to say, has done such a great job representing not only the kayaking community, but Canadian anglers at large, because he's been down to some pretty prestigious competitions down in the States as well. So I have to admit, when it comes to competitive angling, Dan and I have talked about this. It's a tough go. It's a tough battle to get folks to register. But the one area, the one community that continues to grow is the kayaking world. And I'll tell you, I with these 2 pillars right here, I can see that the sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
I think there's 2 reasons to that. One is, kayak fishing is very economical. Once you buy your boat, you own it. There's no gas. There's no, maintenance. There's no repairs. You don't need a, Toyota Tundra to pull it around. You can throw it on the top of a Honda Civic. So the cost of ownership and maintenance and operation is very, very low. The other half, I just find kayak anglers are a humble bunch. They're just, it's weird. Like, I've heard guys. Gene Wilson said to me once, one of my heroes from the USA in the kayak fishing world. She said, Aaron, I don't know what you guys have in your Kool-Aid up there, but I want to come up and drink it sometime. It's just, I don't know. It's the community, Scottie. It's the people.
It sure is.
I really can't put a finger on it.
I like to say this, and I don't mean any disrespect to the boating world, but those guys will run each other over at the boat launch, and a kayak guy will help another kayak angler get in the water before he puts his kayak in the water.
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
That's a good representation of the sport and the the spirit of it. And I think both Aaron and I have competed before, and for us, it's not about competing anymore. It's about growing the sport in Canada. And that's what gives us passion, and that's what gives us drive to wake up every day and to make sure that every event that we run live or online is better than the next one, and why we put so much effort into CHEO.
That's right.
I have a friend that I worked out in the gym with who was connected to me through Facebook and through Instagram, and he saw my posts about over the last 5 years of kayak fishing. And I ended up helping him buy a boat from Frontenac Outfitters, one of our great sponsors that we have. And I've outfitted him, and I got him to come up to CHEO. He stayed at my place. We fished for a couple days, and then we went up to CHEO. He fished the event, and now he's hook, line, and sinker into kayak fishing. And
he actually fished it with my dad, which was really nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so Kevin is fully addicted now, and the addiction is real. Just like Chris Tatosco said, where has this kayak been all my life? And
right,
we're the same way. And I think for Aaron and I speak for Aaron as well, I think we can say that when we leave this sport, we want to leave it better than when we entered it. And
absolutely.
After Saturday, I feel really good about that, that statement. And we're going to do this for a long time, as long as we're healthy and as long as we can. But when we leave, we want it to be better than when we started. So
100%.
That's our goal.
Yeah, and I will let you have your last word before we let these two gems go, as we have gotten to almost to the end of our hour. Dan, take it away.
First off, congratulations on CHEO. What a great success. You guys did a great job. I'm looking forward to hopefully making it next year. We're going to do everything we can to be there. Just don't plan it around my mom's birthday. That's a simple request.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
Yeah. And I have one quick little curious question. Has anybody ever stood up at a double kayak, like two people at a kayak? Have you ever seen that in one of your events?
Sorry, say that again, Dan.
Tandem. With tandem.
Tandem, yeah.
I think we have. We've seen tandem canoe fishing for CHEO. Some events don't allow it. We're pretty slack. Our event, we allow 3 different boards. Tandem fishing's fine as long as both anglers are registered, and of course not sharing fish. But I mean, we trust our anglers. Guys don't have to be in the same boat to worry about doing that. So tandem fishing is fine. We have had people in the past, some couples that fish together, which is always nice to see,
That's where I was leading with it.
Yeah. So you can always fish tandem. I mean, it's more than welcome to fish it that way. It's really a grassroots event. We try to keep it really slack, be lenient with our judging within certain parameters. We want people to learn and enjoy the sport and walk away with a positive experience so that they want to try it again. Kayak Bass Canada is not a professional club. We're not, a high intensity club. It's grassroots. It's like you guys. We're East Coast, West Coast, bringing people together, fishing, joking, teasing, and just feeling like it's somewhere you belong, that you can enjoy a passion together. That's really what it's all about.
Amen. Well said. Well, you know what? I would do nothing. I would be thrilled to hear that you were able to match your wish for next year. But it helps to basically help get this jump started. And if folks want to donate, is there anywhere they can go right now to help out for next year?
We still have our link up for this event. I mean, Bob Ghosh is a great friend of Jason and mine at CHEO. He's our fundraising director. I believe that's his exact title. I could be wrong. People can make a donation. We'll post the link in the comments here, Scottie, in your feed on Facebook, and people can make a donation. I'm sure that since our event is over, Bob would be more than happy to carry that over to next year. But either way, the bottom line is that the money goes to CHEO. I mean, it's for the kids. I think we're less than 2% operating costs for our event. When you look at some charities are 50, 40, 30%. Jason and I looked at it. We're about 1.4 or 1.5% operating cost. And that includes, everything. So, that money is going to CHEO, and that's what matters. So I'll drop a comment in the link, in a link below, and anybody that would like to make a donation, we'd be, absolutely grateful if you did.
There'll also be a new link in 2026 for the 2026
yeah, there will
event
be.
that will launch.
It's going to be out in 2025, getting ready, because this year we want to hit 50. We're going to start digging early.
Sounds
and that's the plan Jason and I discussed, was we're going to start early this year. We got a lot of eager volunteers that want to get rolling, so we're going to leverage that and take advantage of the momentum.
That's awesome. Well, listen, on behalf of CFN, myself, Danny, and the rest of our incredible community, I just want to extend a great thank you to KBC for making it so welcoming to be a part of your event on Saturday. And as we bid farewell to all those who are watching, and thanks for all the KBC members and CFNers that showed up and left great comments and some really positive momentum moving forward for next year. Let's take a quick look back again to the accomplishment that was the past weekend at KBC, and congratulations to both you, Jay, and you, Eron, for doing a fantastic job.
Great work,
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your
Thanks
support.
for having us,
I'm gonna
guys.
let Jason Brock take over here, guys. Shout out to CSI Leasing, our premier sponsor and the foundation of this event in the past few years. Jason?
Because of you, because of our sponsors, because of the great coordinators that I work with here, we are able to smash last year's number. This year we raised $45,100.
For CHEO, guys.
CHEO, guys. Thank you.
You all did this, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Amazing.
You guys bought more than $15,000 worth of tickets today to make this happen. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Absolutely incredible, guys. You guys are all CHEO heroes. Lots of love.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Over 45K, outstanding. Thank you, everyone, for your support and for coming out. I don't know what else to say.